What's up everybody, Brett here, and I'm back for episode 2 of our Battle Brothers DLC Beast and Exploration Let's Play. So, I am very excited guys. My first video just from yesterday, less than 24 hours, for me was a huge success. I'm somewhere sitting around like the 50 view mark right now, and that's pretty awesome for my channel. So far, nobody's subscribed, which is a bit of a bummer. I was hoping to get at least 1 or 2 subscriptions. If that happens, guys, I want you to go ahead and leave a comment telling me a little bit about yourself, why you like the channel, or just even a name suggestion for some of our characters here. I would love to get these guys named up and start kind of role-playing a little bit. And I promise, if you give me a name, I will try to keep your guy alive. I have pretty good success, especially in beginner battle difficulty, with keeping my guys alive, especially the good ones. So yeah, I would love to have some named characters to play around. So without any further ado, guys, let's get started. And let's see. Something to remember here, and something that for you new players who may have not seen this type of thing before. We have Burnfried, and he has a ripped ear. So you can get lots of different injuries in this game as a result of battle. Obviously, he's still missing a few of his hit points. That's what this red cross here denotes. And specific injuries, bodily injuries, will give you very specific debuffs. So minus 15% to initiative. And it's one of, honestly, the least offensive injuries you could have, and it will heal up. Some injuries do become permanent if not treated. These wounds can become infected, and if that's the case, then we'll need to visit a temple to try and heal up. So the game is paused right now. So where last we left off, we took a quest that'll give us 470 gold. It's a 1 skull quest, pretty simple. We're up to 7 Battle Brothers, so we should be able to handle a quest like this. And we're very well provisioned. We have excellent food, tools, ammunition, and medical supplies. And we have enough gold to pay ourselves a nice, comfortable week. So this shouldn't be a difficult quest. Now, worth noting, we do not want to engage at night. So we're going to camp here, somewhat near the actual outpost of our enemies. But if we decide to fight at night, we'll lose some of the visibility on our archers, and that's one of our major advantages that we have, especially in the early game. So as you step through the tombstones, a few voices murmur over the other side of a mausoleum. When you turn the corner, you find a group of men standing over an emptied grave. They have an open coffin before them, a few of the men taking jewelry out of it. You order your men to charge. So there was a chance there, I think, that we could have fought zombies, but instead it looks like we're fighting bandits. Can't wait to fight one of those big ugly trolls there. So let's take a look at our enemies. Enemies that we want to prioritize. They have a few guys with shields. They're all thugs. Hopefully we get some of these spears here. I would even take this dagger. And we have short swords, so our range unit should be able to do quite a bit of work, and we even have some high ground advantage. So let's just take a shot on this guy and reload. And if we can kill one of them before the battle even starts, that'll be pretty excellent for us. And I think here we will wait turn. Wait turn. We don't want to move in on them, and we don't want to attack people that have the high ground. So we'll let that go. We'll spear wall and then wait turn. And there we go. Let's put some shots on him, maybe kill him. Excellent. We'll spear wall here. So for those of you who aren't familiar, spear wall costs 4 AP and builds up 30 fatigue. But if an enemy tries to engage in melee around us, there's a good chance that they'll be damaged and pushed back. So it's very effective against low tier units like brigand thugs, zombies, different types of beasts. It's a super effective way of countering them. And I think here we're going to use a shield wall. I don't think fatigue is going to be our issue here, and if our opponents have the initiative advantage and they're going to go first, let's see if that works out the way I think it will. They're going to attack us. They're going to... Okay, so they're choosing not even to attack us, which kind of has the same effect, to be honest. We lost our helmet there. That's pretty dangerous. But we can take a shot on this thug. 63% chance to hit. He does have a short sword, So he's kind of a dangerous unit compared to the rest of them. And I think here we can afford to wait turn. We could also use riposte there. So we have a chance to decapitate with the cleaver. And I like doing that because if we decapitate them, it causes kind of a morale penalty to the enemy. So let's go ahead and try and decapitate him. Either way, it's going to do big damage to the head. And you'll see there his helmet armor has disappeared, or his body armor rather. And we didn't get the decapitation, which is unfortunate, but now we can use our split man, which is a huge attack. He has no more armor. If this hits, it should kill him, and it does. Nice. So you saw that morale penalty get triggered for everyone. And we're going to wait turn because we don't know yet if we want to move or not. So now I'm looking around. I don't want to shoot at guys with shields. I would like to shoot this dude with the cleaver because he's quite dangerous. Hopefully we hit him. We missed 2 times. That's unfortunate. And our spear wall, I feel like, is pushing the enemy to want to come around this flank, which is kind of fine with us. We have the high ground with Baldwin. It sucks that he doesn't have a helmet. He's pretty vulnerable. And you saw there how much work the spear wall does. We should be able to kill him now. Yes, and we did it. So now we can wait. And wait and pass. Okay. So fully expected him to come up and hit Baldwin. It would have been really bad if he had tried to decapitate him. But luckily that was not the case. Unfortunately, we've missed a lot of shots on this guy. And now it's time to move in. We can't sit back and wait anymore. This buckler has protected him from quite a bit of damage. Yeah, this dude is like the untouchable. Wow, I can't believe we missed all these shots on him. But let's see what we can do here. He's got the high ground. It's only a 6% shot, which is pretty miserable. I think we move in here and take a shot on this thug. Nice, good hit. And we want to move in here. Now, this is not a great position. We're putting ourselves in range of 2 guys, but he has good armor, good shield. His defensive stats are high, and we really want to take out this thug if we can, or at least make him waver so that he doesn't get a chance to kill Baldwin, because that would be terrible. If we move there, we don't get a chance to attack. If we move here, we do. He's going to run, but we're still going to attack him anyway. There's a good chance we could have killed him and then moved in on him. So this fight has become a bit of a pit fight. It's a little scarier than it needs to be, honestly. This is making me nervous right here. Okay, he missed twice, thank goodness. That kind of balances out, thankfully, because we missed so many good shots on him. There we go, let's just get him dead. Unbelievable. Okay, let's take out this thug. Nice. Nice. Okay, so we're getting the kills, we're rounding them up. This is the only dude that we need to worry about. And we put a shot on him. Nice. Okay. He's running. He's running as well, so we're just going to surround him. And when he tries to flee. And of course, so now we have the option to end the battle or run them down. We're going to run him down. He doesn't seem to have any good gear, but, you know, you never know. More experience for us. And we're just missing all of our shots. And that's how it goes sometimes in Battle Brothers. You know, you can lose a fight that you went into very confident just for some bad rolls. So never assume that you've got the victory until you actually have it. So it's nice that we got another spear and a short sword and a good dagger. So daggers function the same way as knives. We can give those to our archer units. And eventually we're going to want to have everyone to have a dagger. Because there'll come a point where we're going to pull out those daggers. And let's say there'll be 1 or 2 units left on the field. We'll pull out those daggers and we'll bypass their armor with them. And keep their armor intact. That way when we win the battle, we will have a higher percentage chance to get that armor. So now we have a chance to level up Emmerich. Let's take a quick look at Emmerich. He has very high fatigue stats. And decent that he has a star in melee and melee defense. Also has Swift. Okay, he's the guy that's huge. So let's see what we get for him. Wow. Take a 3-star there and a 3-star there. I think we kind of have to. And honestly, we're going to pass this 5, which is just a big number. We'll get more 5s for sure. We want to get his resolve at least over 40. And I think that's fine to do. And we can go ahead and get him the student perk as well. I think we're going to try. I don't think I've ever done a run where I've gotten student on every character. But I think we're going to try that and see how it works. It doesn't really have any effectiveness in the early game when you're already kind of leveling quite quickly. But it does have a lot of effectiveness in the later stages when you're, or I would say more like the mid game, when your hero's about 7 or 8 level and you're trying to hurry up and get to level 11. So here, we'll take a 3 there. That's pretty nice. And we could take just some straight defensive stats. I like that. He's looking like he might be our lone wolf character. And I'll explain what that means in just a second. Also having more fatigue would be nice. I think I'm going to take a 4 fatigue. And we can take... we'll get better melee defense. I think we want to take this 3 while we have it. And because he's not shielded, he can really use the range defense. So Lone Wolf is a trait you unlock down here. So with no ally within 3 tiles of distance, gain a 15% bonus to melee skill, melee defense, range defense, and resolve. So there are lots of other traits that work very well with this. Underdog is one. You can let him become surrounded and he won't have a problem with that. Overwhelm is another one. So what I've done in a lot of my playthroughs is, usually this is my character as well. He's the guy that I'll name after myself. I'll put him way off to the side. The battle will start. He'll be super heavily armored. He's in my best armor. He has my strongest 2-handed weapon, a great sword or a big hammer or something. And he walks out into the enemy, and the enemy usually detaches like half of its force to deal with him. And he's so resolute, so heavily armored that they just can't take him down. So they'll surround him, and then I'll use the big sweeping attacks of the 2-handed weapons to apply things like Overwhelm, or let's see, Berserk will get me a kill and then give me another action point so I can do it again. And you can see how that could quickly snowball. And all I need to do is get 1 kill. If I get 1 kill out of a group of goblins or orcs or raiders or something like that, that's it. The chain is on. I have tons of action points. I'm getting lots of kills. I'm giving myself, let's see here, reach advantage, which also gives you melee defense when you have a 2-handed weapon. So yeah, I mean there's lots of synergy here, and I'll go over that as we level up. But I'm always on the lookout for a good kind of lone wolf character, and usually your axe bro, which is what a lot of people call your starting axe character, he is our companion after all. They make a great candidate for a lone wolf type character, whereas your shield bro, which for us is Guntbert, they make a very good kind of a sergeant. And you'll see there when we get that designation, we're able to give him a unique, like a sash that increases the resolve of all nearby allies. So that's going to be good for us when we get that. And you can kind of play it like that, or you can try and find someone better. So here we have Raymond. We're definitely going to take 4 on his range skill. We don't want to have any more of those horrible misses. We want to at least get him up to 40 resolve for the early game, so he doesn't just chicken out and run. If we fight something like the undead, they have lots of abilities to scare you away. And we also want to make sure he's at least 100 fatigue. So I think these are pretty good stats early on. I mean, we're getting big numbers, 3s, 4, 4, and that's always good to see. And then Egil. So again, we'll take student. We're trying it out. If you guys play this game often, I would love to know what your success is. What's your strongest argument for taking student? I mean, obviously I see the benefits of it. It's just it kind of feels bad in the early game. I mean, I could have Colossus on all my front line right now, giving them like a plus 15 health, which is very good at keeping them survivable, as well as crippling strikes on all of my ranged, which will start wounding enemies much sooner in the game, and that's kind of where I want to be. So one of the things I noticed about Egil is that his resolve is pitiful. Thankfully he has 1 star in it, but I don't think we'll ever get him up to the 50 resolve mark. which is where we need him. There are traits that increase our resolve by a percentage, but I generally don't like to waste a perk point on that. And so here, we could go for fatigue. His fatigue is also pretty bad. For as expensive as he wasn't a very good pickup, unfortunately. 2 fatigue is not a great number. I'd almost rather get more range defense because he'll never hold a shield. There'll be times when he's in a bit of an archer duel, and having some range defense is going to be great for that. Let's say we're fighting a ton of goblins. They bring lots of archers, and in those instances it can be very scary to have a backline of ranged units that are heavily armored, as I like to armor them, but they have very little range defense, and you'll find yourself getting picked apart by a ton of like little skirmisher guys. So let's head back to Brunnan, get our 470 crowns, which is a pretty nice payday for us. We picked up a little bit of gold there from our battle. He says, good, your payment. And they hand us our money, and they no longer have an effect. So I didn't read what the effect was, but something I didn't explain in the previous episode, one of the reasons I believe why the prices were so bad here was that this I think this is classified as a large city. This large city had some sort of threat to it, which we just eliminated. And different things like raiding or greenskin invasions or the countries being at war, all these things have different effects, which you'll see here as little kind of picture bubbles. And we can mouse over them and they'll tell us what kind of deleterious effect it's having on the particular city that we're in. So I think it was causing the prices here to be very high. If you remember last episode, I was commenting about how expensive everything was here. And it's still expensive, but if I remember right from yesterday, this was an 800 gold mallet, and now it's 630. So that's a much better price for us. And yeah, hopefully we can pick up something here of use. I still don't want to buy these dyes. Yeah, I would want the prices to be much better, but at this point, also I just noticed we did not get the dagger, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to get that, but we can sell these things. I don't want to sell the, sell that too, and the thick tunic as well. I don't want to sell the spears, I don't want to sell the knives. I could probably sell this cleaver, but we want to see if we have anyone who we could give a different weapon. In the beginning of the game, I like to use spears. I like to have spear walls against the low tier enemies. It does a very good job, as you saw in the last battle, of keeping those enemies away from us and letting our backline do the DPS that we need. And they also do a ton of damage. So depending on what our next battle is, we'll see how we change that up. So we lost a helmet on the straw hat. I hate these straw hats. I hate that our entire front line has such weak helmets. And we have these that we can buy, which are a good bit better. But I don't know if I want to spend, 250 gold on that. So I think we're going to leave this alone. I think we've bought enough stuff. We don't need any food. We're good for 3 more days. It's not a lot of days. We can just buy some more grain, and now we're good for 5 days. I think that was a nice choice. And we can check the armor. These are the types of armors that I want to have right now. The next step up would probably be the leather lamellar armor. So you'll take a look there. It has 95 defensive stats with minus 10 fatigue, where this is 80 with minus 8. And then the step up after that would be the basic mail shirts. So I'm kind of looking, and I'm still seeing these. These are very cool looking armors. I can't wait to try them on and maybe augment them with some dyes or the different mails and see how they look. Also would love to pick up this mail coif. This is just about the best helmet you can get for an archer before you start having effects that limit their visibility and thus their range. So we definitely don't want to do that. And here we get into things like kite shields. And I mentioned that the buckler was the lowest tier shield, and that's because it gives plus 10 melee defense, plus 5 range defense. Doesn't have a lot of fatigue, which is nice, but it only has 16 durability. And then you move up to this, and you'll see there the stats are much better. And then the kite shield, the durability is much higher, and it also has plus 10 more range defense, which I find to be very useful. And there's also heater shields, which favor melee defense. So there's lots of different things we can get into, guys. This game is big, and there are lots of things to learn and know. But at this point, we have a little bit of gold. Who really needs some armor? I would love to at least get one more. Yeah, let's get one more piece. And we'll make it cheap. We're not going to start splurging just yet. And now our entire front line is rocking padded leather, which is good. That's 55, okay. Nice. So 65 and 55, that's pretty good. And we can hold on to this for if we're about to pick up another brother. And let's see if there are any more men for us to hire. So we have a rat catcher. Yeah, it's still the same guys. They haven't changed out quite yet. But we're going to take another quest, another contract. And maybe it'll be something for us to go to a different city. Or escort a caravan. So Edmund of Brundunland welcomes us, waving us in. Would you please shut the door? Let's see, what is he like? I need something. Okay, so he wants us to do some kind of delivery. So let's talk money. Let's see what he wants. So he's only wanting to pay us 130. Let's see if he'll give us more. Nope. So let's accept his offer. And we'll say I need some time to think about this. And that's because I don't know where this city is. So let's check it out real quick. We'll pause it. And where are we going? Where does he want us to go? So he wants us to go way over here for only 130. I don't like that. I think we'll do it though, because I don't feel confident in taking on a tier 2 quest. And maybe we'll pick up a fight or another better quest once we get there. So let's take it. And also, I mean, the hiring well here is dry. We need to get some fresh recruits. And this will also increase our reputation with this part of the world. And we can check them out. For those of you who also aren't familiar, we can show the factions and our relations to them. So House Grimond, House Steinwall, and House Grawwall. So you can see here their nobility. You can read a bit, if you guys want to pause, you can read a bit about their histories and the types of people they are. And at some point, we chose a random in-game effect. If they decide to go to war, sometimes I like to roleplay it and pick the house. I actually read these and pick the house that is, that I like the most. Or sometimes I'll just go with whatever house I have the best reputation with, and then I'll help them out. And we see here we have a few cities that we made a bit of a reputation with. Ottendorf in particular, we have an open relationship as opposed to a neutral relationship. So having an open relationship gives us a bit better of trade and things like that. And yeah, we have to keep doing things for them or else it'll go back to normal, which is worth remembering. So you see here we encounter some peasants on the road. We don't want to attack neutral characters. That could be pretty bad for us. Okay, so we have a tier 1 contract already. We could always come back and pick this up. And this is a new building for us. So awesome, I get to showcase this in the second video. So we don't have any trophies, but this is a new building that if we fight a lot of beasts, which we certainly will, we'll be fighting dire wolves, hopefully the spiders, the new spider enemies, the ghoul guys, I forget what they're called, they're like, it's hard to say that word, I think it's a German word. In my head I pronounce it the same way you do. If you ever play like The Witcher, they have the Neckers. And they're kind of like these ghoulish characters, but they kind of remind me of those. So that's kind of how I refer to them when I play. But yeah, we can take the items that we get from slaying beasts, bring them to the taxidermist, and have him make us different kinds of items. And I love to slay dire wolves and try and get this could be a good character. And try and get that rare armor. You mix like a chainmail with some direwolf pelts, and you get a pretty sweet armor that's good until the late game for archers. So I think we're going to hire this butcher. Let's take a look at him. His name is Wilric the Butcher. As a butcher, Wilric has spent years squishing guts out of dead rabbits and lopping heads off sometimes dead fish. Given the terrible rumors of dark arts already going around, it wasn't long until people began questioning the source of his meats and drove him out of business. Many are disturbed by Wilric's mere presence and all too wide eyes. Man, I don't know if that's good or bad. Like the sturdy, right? The sturdy sounds good. If a guy is the sturdy, he's probably someone we want. But a butcher, that could go either way. Either he's a good fighter, or he's someone who might try and kill us in our sleep. I don't know. So let's take him. He's a bit expensive, 310. I think we're paying a bit for his cleaver. But let's take him. I like to have 8 starting Battle Brothers. And we'll give him... You know what? Let's switch these back out. Let's see. Yeah, we want our front line to pretty much always have the best gear available to us. And seems fitting that we give him the sword. He has the background as a butcher. He doesn't have any good traits, which I guess is better than not having, or than having a bad trait. He also has 2 stars in melee skill, which is nice. 1 in resolve, which is also decent, and some range defense. So not altogether terrible. He is someone that we're going to want to give. We need to give him a helmet as soon as possible. And while I'm here thinking about it, no. Let's give some people in our front line these knives. And we can give the net here. So, okay, that should be fine. And the sword does better damage than the cleaver. So let's just give him that. And we'll put him kind of in the side and the back until we get him some better gear. Check out the marketplace. We don't want to spend too much gold. Would like to get some wood if we could. The prices here seem to be quite cheap. We could also make him a 2-handed character. Let's take a look real quick at his range skill. Does he have any possibility of becoming an archer? I don't believe so. You can always give units that don't have great range skill. You can give them crossbows, and crossbows require a much lower threshold to be good with. So we would love to pick him up a cheap shield, which we have here, and I think we'll take that, as well as I would love to get this Speedum, or Speedum. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but I haven't used this weapon yet. This is a new one. It's a very early backline weapon. And it's better than a pitchfork, but also more expensive. So, yeah, I think we're happy with the shield, and we want to get a cheap hat. Let's just get the hood. And now he's equipped enough to stand in our front lines. I think that's going to be fine. And luckily all this traveling is kind of good for us because we're taking advantage of it to heal up. Okay, so here is our first kind of major choice in the campaign, right? So, a fresh, cool breeze is blowing today. You feel like it's a good time for the Sons of Verona to start something new. You call the men to gather round. What do you tell them? So this is our first big choice. So we need allies. Forging a bond of friendship with one of the towns will get the company better prices, more volunteers, and more steady work. So this is a bit more difficult than it sounds. We would need to kind of stay in one area for a long time and just kind of grind out relations by doing lots of questing. And this one is something that we'll do pretty soon. I mean, we're already up to 8 men. The next milestone is probably like getting to 10 men. But if we're getting nothing but like cheap fishermen and lumberjacks and stuff like that, it shouldn't take us very long to get 12 moderately equipped men. So I'm going to go with this one. And 12, like I've mentioned in the previous video, is the maximum number of guys that you can have in battle at once. So got to beware of speeding up. I like to play on 2x speed most of the time, but for the sake of this video, you see here also there are mercenary companies as well as trading caravans, and that was like a city guard unit. Well, not quite a city guard. That's more of a house unit. So the different houses that we took a look at, they all have their own armies, and they'll patrol the areas and clear out bandits and stuff by themselves. They also have watchtowers placed around, especially large cities, and if you go to attack them, they have garrisons that will come out and fight you. So we delivered this guy's shady package. We only got 130 crowns, but it was kind of, they just paid us to travel. so to speak. So here we go. This is exactly what we're talking about. Ambush trade routes. The roads leading here are unsafe of late, and many a caravan has been ambushed and plundered. With little successful trade, the selection of goods is lower and the prices are higher. So we need to do some of these quests. One of them will probably fix this for us. So let's see what kind of quests they have available. I'll probably accept all of them and do whichever one is closest to me. Let's see. The roads are dangerous. I get it. I think he wants us to escort... No, okay, he wants us to kill guys, which I am happy to do. Unfortunately, I don't know... Let's say we need to be paid more per heads. He doesn't like that. So we'll take some time to think about this. And this is a bit different. We escort a caravan back the way we came, which we don't want to do. This can be the last thing, the last quest that we do. I think that's a good order for us. And they're mixing what previously was two different quests, which is nice. I think this is pretty much new to the DLC. And we'll need some time to think about this. The contract is still open. Let's see. Okay, this guy wants us to get his crystal skull back. So we're going to go full Indiana Jones and try and do that. I think this will be one we take right off the bat. It's 230, 60 crowns in advance, which is nice because we are running a bit low on gold. And we're not going to argue over the price. We don't want to insult them any more than we kind of already have. And we could get our spirits up, but our spirits are already pretty high. So the only thing that I would do, if I had a decent amount of gold and a strong group, I would start trying to get information about legendary gear out and about. But I think we're already taken care of. So now we need to follow tracks east of Grafenhagen. And these are kind of some big tracks. The tracks kind of denote how large the force is that you're fighting. And the terrain does make a difference. So if we engage these guys in mountainous terrain, the battlefield itself will be mountainous. And you could end up starting in some very awkward positions. Alright. Brigands. Yeah, they look scared. Okay. And we outnumber them, which is nice. And that's why I like to get up to 8 as quickly as possible. And they're pretty well supplied here. They all have decent weapons. And some of them even have shields. And we're going to look to take this high ground here as soon as possible. And we're going to pass. We're going to pass our turns. And we're going to look to put our spearmen in this gap here with their spear walls up before they arrive. And we are going to take the high ground. We'll let them have one guy get up on the high ground. I think that's fine. Because as soon as he steps up, he's going to be fatigued from climbing. And that's when we're going to hit him. We can move forward 1 here. We'll make a bit of a concave. And if they want to come in and get poked to death, they are welcome to do that. Alright, so now that they've moved closer, we have much better shots. He's hiding behind a bush. Okay, I was like, man, why is that percentage so bad? But they have shields. Even little bucklers are helping them. But 30% chance shots are not terrible, especially in the early game. You just kind of want to take those and go with it. And there we go. Another spear. And we'll just save our points, make them come to us. And we'll take that big shot. Didn't do a lot of damage, unfortunately. And now we have a chance to try and take out this thug on the high ground. So we did. Excellent. And we can shield wall here. May not be necessary, but if they do come in on us, we want to be prepared. And we can riposte here. If they attack us, he will attack back. He'll counterattack. So these two spots, they're not going to want to get in there. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and go up and around, which will take them even more movement. And I almost want to move back with Baldwin. I'll leave him here for now. He's forcing them to go even further around. And you'll see there, yeah, so they take the high ground fine, but Now I have two guys who are poised to hit you. And our spear wall is making them not want to come in. They're going to waste another turn trying to go around. We're hopefully going to take this dude out. And let's get a big shot there. Excellent. And we can reload once again. And the thing about having an axe is we can perform an ability like a round swing. Unfortunately, he hits everyone in an AoE, including our own guy. So that's not something we want to do. Instead, we're going to use Split Man on the brigand that has the mining pick. And man, I was hoping to get a big shot on him, but that is not the case. So now we want to move in with our archer. Standing directly behind reduces the odds that they will shoot our own guys in the back, which is definitely not what we want to do. Awesome, we needed that. Well, I don't know if we needed it, but we certainly wanted it. And if we get a decapitation here, we should scare the hell out of the other guys. Awesome. So everything's kind of going according to plan for us. And I think we're going to fall back this way and shield wall. So they're already starting to waver. We can move in. And sometimes just the simple act of moving inwards on an enemy can cause them to break. So you see there that worked. It's funny that our guy wearing our chainmail has the straw hat. And we left him out by himself, but the shield wall is giving him increased defensive stats. So if this dude wants to try and come in and engage on us, he should be fine. And he tried to run and got cut down. And we'll put him next to his buddy, and they'll both shield wall. So when units stand next to each other using shield wall, the benefits from it are increased. So here we want to take shots at this dude. The other one is running. There's very little chance we were going to get that hit. Yeah. And we figured that was going to happen. Let's just make sure we take this guy down. Don't give him any chance to escape. And now we're getting his sword and his buckler, which is going to be nice to sell. Good pass there. And we're going to try and chase this dude down, but he's got a pretty nice head start on us. And I think we're just going to have to let him go. I don't think there's any way we can catch him. I do like to get maximum experience and maximum loot when I can. So Blotched Gambeson, that's a decent piece of early game armor as well as the standard Gambeson. And we get some more spears and short swords. Very good early game weapons. Those are kind of my two go-tos. Now we've got to bring him back the Crystal Skull. And we're going to do that right now. Would love to find some beasts or something along the road and get in an extra fight. Just for some more experience. We could always even check here. So another cool little detail about this game, if you want a clear line of sight of the map. So right now we have a basic vision. It's hard to see just how large it is, but it's a vision around us of the enemies, and people fade in and out as they get close. But if we were to stand on this mountaintop, our vantage would increase drastically. We would be able to see enemies at a pretty great distance. So I got the Superstitious guy's Crystal Skull back, which did not alleviate the ambush trade routes, unfortunately. Maybe this quest will, but this one is also a possibility here. So like I said, guys, in the comment section, let me know if you want a guy named after you and what you want him to look like. And I'll go into this barber, and I'll make you a custom-looking character. And we'll do our best to keep him alive as we progress through the game. So we didn't really take too much of a look at all the different characters that we can get in this city. They have a militiaman, which is a really good early game background. They usually come with pretty decent stats. Eunuch, I don't know if they have anything special about them. We of course can't hire any of these more expensive retired soldiers or any of these more expensive militia. These arrows here indicate that they come pre-leveled up, so that can be pretty nice. We could probably take another fisherman and get up to 9 guys, but I think that's kind of pushing it for where we are in the game right now. We don't have enough of a cushion of gold to be doing that, I don't feel. But we can come into the marketplace and see what we can sell or trade. So their prices are bad, that's worth remembering. We may want to just hold on to what we have. You'll see here another piece of padded leather. That would be great for us to get. And as I mentioned about the archers, so you see here one of the stats that says vision -1. You can make super heavily armored archers and crossbowmen if you would like, but their vision will be very poor and their fatigue will be very high. So they'll get off a few shots, and then basically you'll just have a very tired, poorly spec'd infantryman a few turns later. So that's all worth considering. They also have a damaged boar spear, which is the tier 2 spear that I don't think we're going to be looking at quite yet. So who has our worst armor? I think it's Egil. So we're going to give him the Gambison, and you are going to get the better Gambison because you are a starting brother. And that's the perks. That's the perks of being a starting brother. And we have multiple levels. So, once again, we're going to rock the student on Randolph the Mauler. He was our melee guy, our fighter that we picked up in the last episode. We want to give him some more resolve. We're going to get him up to 50. This guy could end up being an excellent sergeant for us. Sergeants, you really want them to have high morale because they give a percentage of their morale to nearby units. So he may not be a great melee fighter, and these stats are really, really bad. So honestly, I think I'm just going to give him some more health, give him some more fatigue, take the big numbers where we can, and hopefully we'll get better melee attack and melee defense in the next one. So he could just end up he's going to be permanently a shield bro for the rest of the game, that's for sure. And we'll take student on him. Alright, so finally we get to make a decision. And a lot of these are very good. Okay, for those of you who've never played the game before, I'm going to briefly mouse over these so you could pause it and read it. But I already have some builds in mind. I don't like to do the same build over and over again. I like to do different stuff. But I certainly do have a play style. And the beauty of this game is that you can build these characters however you want. And there's lots of different very valuable builds. But you really have to build them to fit your play style. Because if you don't, you could end up with a bunch of defensive characters, and then you're constantly playing incorrectly by trying to rush forward, and then you get to the battle, and then your guys are super tired because you have super heavy armor, and you got all the wrong traits for being those types of characters. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get Colossus on Gunpert. I like this because, so you'll see here it says bring it on. Hit points are increased by 25%, which also reduces the chance to sustain debilitating injuries when being hit. So I like this because it's a percentage based increase, and because he already has 2 stars, he's going to get lots of health over the course of this playthrough, and 25% of a lot is a lot more than 25% of a little bit. So that's a little math for you guys. And yeah, we're going to take a big 3 here, don't even have to look at much else. And these are all great stats. We're going to take this 4 here to even further increase. So this is actually like us getting 5 because we just took Colossus. And I think we could either take Resolve, which I don't think is quite necessary yet. We're going to take more melee defense, and we'll get good rolls on these pretty often because we have these stars. So we want to take the 2s and 3s in melee defense when we get it, as well as melee attack. Even if this was a 2, I still would have taken it. We do want him to be able to hit. And you'll see here, so melee skill determines the base probability of hitting with a melee attack. And level 2 on Bernfried. So let's give him student as well. And we'll see what he has. Man, this guy has such pitiful stats. It's really rough. He needs +2 melee skill. And he needs +4 resolve while he doesn't have any stars. So a +4 is quite a solid pickup for him. And I think here we could get his fatigue over 100, which I like. But I think we're going to get his health. And in lieu of having really strong defensive stats, having a lot of health can provide kind of that same benefit. It's better to have the defensive stats like melee defense and range defense. But you can absorb lots of extra hits if you have very high hit points. Kind of in the same way that if the opponents had just missed, you would be fine. So I think we're good. Let's see what this other contract is. Hopefully it's something to fight. Brigand swarmed my wagons and made off with all my goods. So he wants us to kill brigands. So eventually we'll fight some different stuff, guys. Normally by now I've seen dire wolves and the ghouls and zombies and all sorts of stuff. We're very early in the campaign. Going a bit slower because I am taking my time to explain things. And for those of you who already know all of this, I don't want to apologize necessarily, but I do want to tell you that I understand that it could be frustrating to watch a Let's Play where a guy explains a concept that you already understand. But a battle took place here, so there could be some very strong enemies nearby. But this is really for the benefit of people who haven't seen this game yet. And for those of you who have seen it and love it, I definitely want to be showcasing the new content for you, because it's what I'm most excited about as well. I want to start crafting armor, man. I want to start using early game like two-handed mauls and all those types of weapons that weren't there before. So prepare for combat. We can't tell who we're fighting. Probably brigands, probably thugs, and of course we engage them in the forest, which I do like, because with all of our spears, we can take advantage of all these different choke points in ways that usually the AI cannot. So I'm just going to kind of pass here, see how they move, where they move, and we can take some shots. I don't want to take a 14% shot. We'll just pass there, and we'll move forward with our spears, and we'll block up these passes. Move up a bit, get better lines of sight, take some of the high ground. Yeah, we'll move here, we'll block this part, and we can reduce the trees and kind of lower elevation. So we can mess with that if we need to, like tactically make some different decisions. And we want to get up on high ground, which is excellent for our archers, gives them increased vision. And we're going to hang back. We don't need to be hasty, we don't need to overextend in any one position. We do want to get up on this hill though. We don't want this guy to move in on our archer. We'll move forward one and hope for a better shot. It gives us kind of a cool line of sight on these guys. Not great chances to hit though. We'll take this shot. Nice. That was big. And he was already thinking about running, so now he's really thinking about it. And we wounded him. We gave him a pierced chest, which is pretty strong. I'm not sure exactly what debuff that is, but it's probably pretty good. And I think here we're going to take the high ground just to make sure he doesn't take it. So there's only 5 of them. Pretty easy early game fight. Yeah, we figured they'd be coming around this way. Yeah, and he has the good armor for a reason. And we're just going to trade blows with that dude. We should come out ahead. We have the better gear. And the idea was always to move down here to cover our archers, and we can shoot. And that's going to be a great shot. Man, we just needed one of those to hit. That's unfortunate. But we can come down from this high ground. There's no way for them to get up here. This is being blocked by a bush. And we can put some damage on him. Excellent. And now we can shoot at this thug here. Nice. So, I mean, we're tearing them apart. Excellent. Now we can kind of encircle this guy. Lower morale, give ourselves a better chance to hit. And we'll move up and around and attempt to surround them as well. Can't quite pass through, but we can shield wall here and maybe look to shield wall in the other position. Can we hit him without hitting ourselves? We cannot, so we'll just pass. Try and move up and around. And we'll run him down. He might have some gear we want. Reload, pass, pass. This will be a quick kill. He's going to try and run, and he's going to get chopped up, no doubt. And there we go. More experience for us. We only got a level on Baldwin, but that's nice. A little bit of gold, a few tools, and hatchets sell for a decent amount. They're also probably better than something we have equipped. So let's go back, get our payment. We'll level up our brother, and that might be it for today, guys. And hopefully we'll get to see some new enemies. I was hoping as we went into the forest we would see some spiders or something, and we could take on our first spider battle. But them no longer having ambush trade routes is great for us. We can sell some of the weapons we held on to at the end of the last battle. And having a little bit more gold means we can finally spend it. A recent warehouse. Oh my god. So of course we get rid of the ambush trade routes, and now their warehouse is burned down. Guys, that is my luck. That is my video game luck. So here we can either get Colossus or Crippling Strikes. I think I'm going to go for Colossus as well. And you'll see there that was 17 hit points for him. Over the course of this playthrough, I mean, this will translate to probably 25 hit points, which usually can mean the difference between an entire like heavy blow, which is nice. Almost essentially the same as getting something like 9 lives, which kind of prevents you from dying when you receive a killing blow. So yeah, we'll take a big 3 there. Want to start getting some melee defense, and all of this is very good. But since he has a star in melee defense, I'm sure we'll get better rolls than this. So I'm going to take advantage of these very good non-star having rolls. And I'm not, only in the early game do I prioritize hit points at all. As he gets to like level 5 and 6 and things like that, unless I have horrible like 1s as all of my rolls, which I just won't have on a unit like him, you won't see me getting any more hit points. I just like to get up to a certain threshold. And you'll see there we picked up 4, but thanks to Colossus, we actually picked up, I think, 2 extra overall. So he started off at 71 hit points, I believe, and now he's up to 93. So 22 hit points because of that 1 level. And early game, that's like 2 hits on him. So that makes him much more survivable due to the fact that he doesn't have a shield to use, which is excellent. Can't shop, it's nighttime, and I don't think we would even want to shop, thanks to the burned down warehouse. And I think at this point we're going to take this contract. I don't think we're quite ready for a level 2 contract. If we had 10 men, I could say that's a possibility, one of them maybe being another archer or crossbowman. But at this point I don't think we're quite there yet. And so we're going to escort this caravan. It's going to start moving with us. And guys, at this point I'm going to call it and tell you guys thank you so much for watching. Once again, guys, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming. If you stumbled across my channel looking for the DLC content, I hope you stick around because I will get into it. I'm going to be playing this game every day for a while and just getting better and better, knocking the rust off from my last campaign, which was quite a while ago. But yeah, please subscribe if you haven't already, guys. I have, at this point, maybe like 21, 22 subscribers. So I notice every single subscription that I get, and I really appreciate it. It makes me very excited every time I get a subscriber. No one pays me to do this. I do it because I love the game, and I want to showcase it to people that haven't seen it before. I'm the type of person that when I find something that I love, I like to share it with other people. So I hope you can appreciate that and kind of judge my content accordingly. I'm looking to get some better audio equipment and a better desk setup in my house. So hopefully it'll be a bit more official sounding, official looking, make better thumbnails. I'm constantly trying to improve myself and my understanding of YouTube and how this all works. So thank you guys for watching this video, especially if you watched the one from yesterday, and even more so if you plan on sticking around and watching all my future videos. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.